Hi class, let's move on now to the next set of objectives. Okay. The next set of objectives are going to be to describe different types of staffing-related lawsuits. Most staffing-related lawsuits really come from things like disparate treatment, that is intentional discrimination based on a person's protected characteristic. Adverse impact occurs when an action has a disproportionate effect on a protected group. Regardless of its intent or actual disparate treatment, fraudulent recruitment is the misrepresentation of the job an organization to our organization to an applicant. Negligent hiring occurs when an applicant is hired that the company knew or should have known poses a risk to third parties, and the person harms another person. Negligent referral is misrepresenting or failing to disclose complete and accurate information about a former employee. So there's also trade secret litigation. That occurs when confidential information from another company is acquired after an employee is hired by a competitor or during the interview process. So let's talk a little bit about something about affirmative action. I'd like to discuss that. So when we talk about affirmative action, we are essentially looking at the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and where we establish Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Equal employment opportunity in staffing means that the firm's employment practices are designed and used in a facially neutral manner. In other words, they clearly do not illegally favor some applicants over others. Affirmative action is the proactive effort to eliminate discrimination and to ensure non-discriminatory results in the workforce. Affirmative action plans describe in detail the staffing procedures and standards of an employer, and will that employer take to remedy the unemployment of certain groups. So disparate treatment is really bad when it comes to hiring diverse types of people these days. It goes all the way back to 1964 when we had affirmative action, and it was established not to discriminate just for the sake of someone's race, color, creed, or national origin. Affirmative action plans can include, but are not limited to, provisions for non-discriminatory recruitment, training, and promotion. So these are the types of things that we certainly want to look at when we talk about affirmative action. Remember, an affirmative action plan, the goal is to provide employment opportunities in two groups, formerly underrepresented in employment, particularly blacks, American Indians, Asian Americans, Hispanic, and women. Affirmative action is also required for handicapped people, disabled veterans, and Vietnam War veterans. An affirmative action plan describes in detail the actions to be taken, procedures to be allowed, and standards to be adhered to establish an affirmative action program. That's what's really important. Every company should. Affirmative action plans can include, but are not limited to, provisions for non-discriminatory recruitment, training, and promotion. Sometimes it's right in the organization's company handbook if they have one. Procedures for internal record keeping, auditing, and reporting are often included to ensure compliance and measures the program's success. Affirmative action programs may give preferential treatment to underrepresented protected groups. Affirmative action programs may give preferential treatment to certain groups, but those groups still need to be qualified to do a job. Numerical benchmarks are usually established based on the availability of qualified applicants in the job market or qualified candidates in the employer's workforce. These numerical goals do not create quotas for specific groups, make that clear, nor are they designed to guarantee proportional representation or equal results. A contractor's failure to attain its goals is not an end to itself. It is considered to be a violation. A failure to make good faith efforts to attain those goals is. So let me say that again. Specific groups, okay, are really looking at, when they talk about a contractor, they're talking about an employer. All right? But its failures to attain its goals is not in and of itself considered a violation. A failure, however, to make good faith efforts to attain the goal is. So, opinions regarding whether affirmative action is a good way to remedy past discrimination or not are based on personal experience and opinions. Beliefs about the role of merit in the staffing process and whether or not equal employment opportunity will occur in the absence of these programs. So, when you look at the general barriers to legally defensible staffing that we feel are most common, do we really think the companies try to remove their barriers, but if they can get away with it, they don't? These 6 barriers to legally defensible staffing are the like me, hire like me bias type of stereotypes, stereotyping in general, ignorance, prejudice, perception of loss by persons threatened by EEOC practices, and under-informed hiring managers. Answers to the first part of the question are generally based on personal experience and opinion. So what we need is we need ideas for removing the barriers of discrimination, which include training, performance management, and compensation practices that develop, identify, and reward appropriate staffing behaviors. Aligning in all areas of HR to support equal employment opportunity is critical. For example, every company should have at least a sexual harassment policy, if not an EEOC policy. Hiring more diverse employees can help firms that are currently more homogeneous to overcome their biases, and communicating clearly with those who feel threatened by EEOC practices, they can help them understand that the focus is on merit and not on preferential treatment to anyone. Stereotypes, ignorance, prejudice, and the like-me bias and all of these things may be addressed through training and coaching. It's better for the company to do this. So, overall, when you think of all of this, okay, there are various barriers to legally defensible staffing. They still exist. And the like me bias and the ignorance and the prejudice are still common barriers to employment hiring and maintaining decisions. Not hiring somebody because of their culture, because of their religion, it's just not right. We try not to do that. So that's what I'm really trying to get across for you for this particular night. But I'm going to make a third video just to do some general John DeChico type, okay, what should we know about EEOC? Because I used to consult on this stuff. Okay? So that's the end of this video. One more to come.